Folks, here we go with Randomise User's Top 10 Best Indie Games of 2019, long after you've stopped caring. All games here are full releases, including games that were in early access but reached version 1.0 in 2019. And if you enjoy this, please subscribe to Randomise User for all the best indie games of 2020. Number 10. Hypnose Outlaw. Playing detective, sifting clues, and solving puzzles is all very well, but Hypnose Outlaw shoved this concept into an imaginative, psychedelic, hilarious version of the 90s internet. And no, you don't need to have been there. This game is too well designed to be just a bunch of "hey, remember this?" references. The fictional net in Hypnose Outlaw also mirrors a fictional real world, if you see what I mean, and behind every webpage lies a story. And people. Criminals. It's endlessly fascinating, even if you ignore the main plot. Hypnose Outlaw is a tribute to the days of exploring the internet with wonder, instead of clicking the same few apps over and over again. Number 9. Forager. It turns out even idle clicker games can be rethought into something that's outrageous fun. Taking cues from old Zelda games, survival games, automation games, and even colony builder games, Forager is a rollercoaster of invention packed into its 49 islands. At no point will you ever think you're just waiting around for things to happen. Even Factorio makes you do that from time to time. Forager is one of the most endearing games of the year. It's irresistible. Number 8. Sunless Skies. Sunless Skies builds upon Sunless Sea by pumping up everything that worked in that game and remoulding everything that didn't. I particularly like how you're allowed to explore in all directions and get lost more than in the original, in which you always felt that you were at the end of a tether, constantly being pulled back west to your home port. The world you're floating around is beautiful, and the writing is Disco Elysium good, but it's the atmosphere that will haunt your dreams. It's all realised so brilliantly. Number 7. Untitled Goose Game. Untitled Goose Game is proof that you can tell a compelling, hilarious story with the simplest of setups. The game is a short series of sandboxes that are perfectly constructed to make us act like naughty children, firing our imaginations to work out what we can do to cause low-stakes chaos. The satisfaction of getting a reaction from these guileless villagers never gets old, and it's a real tour de force of animation and sound design. It's a miniature masterpiece. Number 6. Oxygen Not Included. Oxygen Not Included is an anxious game with no chill at all. It's a two-dimensional test where you have to think in 5 dimensions, all the while planning the future like a game of chess several steps ahead. But the feeling of a job well done for building a working colony is amazing. It's the best engineering homework you'll ever get. Number 5. Lonely Mountains Downhill. It's really hard to make a game where it's fun to fail. I've played so many difficult action games based around instant restarts, where the only real feeling I got from winning was a sense of relief that I didn't have to do it anymore. Lonely Mountains Downhill is always fun, and much of this is because once you have worked out which control system is for you, you'll never feel out of control. The game isn't fighting you, it wants you to get better and do well. And it's hugely rewarding if you're not playing as a Twitch gamer trying to ride down the mountain as fast as possible. It's for everyone. It's beautiful, atmospheric, and packed with content to unlock. Number 4. Streets of Rogue. Another game in this list that matured into version 1.0 in 2019. Streets of Rogue is how to do random well, and also how to balance a vast amount of items and concepts and still manage to make it work every time. Unpacking this game could be a video essay in itself, but honestly, its best feature is the huge menagerie of unlockable characters, all of which make you approach the game in a different way. You can find ways to do missions by brute force, stealth, using tech, using the environment, basically being resourceful. It's not about finding the one character you like best, it's about trying them all, and you'll really want to. All that and multiplayer too. Number 3. Disco Elysium. This is a genuinely astonishing work that will echo through gaming for years. It's not my favourite game of the year, but for a while I almost made it number 1 anyway, just because it's one of the best written games of all time. It feels like the sort of thing that medals were invented for. You don't pick at this, you dive headlong into a sleazy nightmare, only occasionally coming up for air and thinking, I need more of this. Everything is so good here, if you don't mind getting out your reading glasses. It's a clever old game and deeply, deeply rewarding. Number 2. Astra Near. This is the one major game this year I've completed and still returned to off camera, to play it for fun and just to chill out. Astroneer's sandbox is balanced with just enough structure and progression that means there's always a choice of new stuff coming down the pipe of research. All the decisions what to do next are interesting, all the problems allow for creative solutions, and the exploration is rewarding. balanced neatly between for the sake of it and I need to find something I'm missing. The updates since 1.0 have been a mixed bag, but the jetpacks were phenomenal, and I was surprised just how balanced they felt in the overall game. The multiplayer's loads of fun too, and suddenly the weirder updates make sense as you recreate Rocket League, set off fireworks at people, or just pose for silly photographs. This is a game that really, above all else, wants you to play. And number 1, Dicey Dungeons. I settled upon Dicey Dungeons at the last minute because I've been playing it again over the last couple of weeks and had an epiphany. It's not the most expansive game, or the game that I'll play for the most hours. Instead, it settles on being just perfect in every way. And there's nothing wrong with it at all. Everything is designed so perfectly. The music is perfect. The look is perfect. It's almost annoying. It's the game that earned the most emotion out of me too. I've screamed out loud and a boss cursed me and cost me the run when I was one turn from victory. I've jumped out of my seat and punched the air when I've beaten a run, especially with a jester for the first time. The game starts out small scale and just keeps opening up with a million interesting variations on the idea of shoving dice into cards to attack each enemy in a turn-based style. Each playable character is different and fun to play. Each episode makes you think on your feet as the rules change, and sometimes wildly. Even the rough alpha versions I played on the channel made it clear how simple and ingenious the battle mechanics are. I knew it was going to be good back then, but never imagined it was going to be so compelling. Honestly, Dicey Dungeons is a masterclass of design. Or in design. No. So please do check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel's mission every month to bring you the best indie games around, or use one of the other methods if you want to make a one-off donation to help keep us going. Check the links in the description. Bye for now.